Hello and welcome everyone back to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball live here from sunny Tampa, Florida. Things are just getting underway as Michigan set to face off against the number 6 Florida Gators. My name is Charlie Brigham, alongside me, Kelin, Flynn, and we have a good one for you today, folks. Michigan looking to come off a hot day yesterday with wins against both Kansas State early in the morning, followed up by that win against Illinois State. And as I'm talking, we are underway. Alex Storako starting in the circle for the Michigan Wolverines. Down 2-0 in this count early. Florida looking to jump on Michigan's ace. In the batter's box for the Gators in that left-hand side is Hannah Adams. She watches the third pitch go by, this one for a called strike in the outside half.
Hannah Adams, one of the better batters on this Florida roster. All-American last season, key piece in their SEC championship run.
Adams on the season so far, hitting .800, a little bit of an inflated stat line this early in the year. She takes a cut on the 2-1 pitch and fouls it backwards into the net. We saw Storako in her one game of work yesterday against Illinois State and was just absolutely dominant. One shy of her career high in strikeouts with 18. Speaking of the player who was absolutely dominant yesterday, right over there at third base, Taylor Bump doing it on both sides of the field. Had that 2-run home run back in game 1 to break things open as Storako leaves the 2-2 high.
Yeah, Taylor Bump was an absolute animal on both sides, like you mentioned, hitting that 2-run jack in the first inning of the first game against Kansas City, and then throughout the day making plays on defense, diving for a couple balls, making some ridiculous grabs down that third base sideline.
It's a full count as Storako set to deliver here. Pitch changeup right down Broadway, called strike 3. Alex Storako picking right up where she left off and has now struck out the last 5 batters that she's faced.
And Hannah Adams looked like she was not waiting on that changeup. Great pitch selection there by Alex Storako. She was definitely looking for something a little bit faster coming down the plate, and that off speed just froze her right up.
We're going to have a quick stoppage of play as Taylor Bump goes over to assist Alex Storako getting some mud out of her cleat. Freshly watered field. It's still a little bit muddy, especially around second base, looks like, and the front of the pitcher's circle, at least from up here. That's our view.
Great teamwork right there.
Just tuning in, we are now 1 out into the top of the first inning. Alex Storako strikes out the first batter, Adams. Now we'll go to work against number 17, Wallace. Wallace also on that left-handed side. Back cocked forward. Overhead pointed right back at Storako. First pitch right at the knees, called strike 1.
And like you mentioned, Alex Storako just continuing where she left off against Illinois State yesterday.
Tell you what, it is a packed house here today. Not only are the stands full, the grassy knoll behind the right field wall filling up as well.
And we expected there to be a lot of people out today. Obviously a highly anticipated matchup, ranked matchup. Florida obviously was going to show out, and the Michigan faithful always travel well.
Storako left the 0-1 rise ball high, so now we're evened out back at 11. She leaves this one high as well. It'll go 2-1. Michigan had a few standouts yesterday on the offensive end. The two namely that come to mind, Christina Burkhart and Lauren Essman, both went 3 for 4 in that first game against Kansas City State. 2-1 from Storako, just missing below the knees.
Yeah, both of them had absolutely stellar games at the plate. Burkhart providing a nice punch in her debut as a Wolverine, the North Carolina transfer. And Lauren Essman a little ways down the lineup, providing an additional punch.
Storako punches in the 3-1 for a called strike 2, so now we're back to a 3-2 count. We mentioned Storako's dominance yesterday. There was a rough patch in the middle of the game where she struggled with her command, walked a few batters, but was able to get herself out of that jam. But 18 strikeouts, just an incredible performance. The 3-2 pitch swung on, popped up backwards over our heads. We're going to do that one again.
And that really shows how great of a pitcher she is. When she does start to fall into a little bit of a hole, struggles a little bit, she can get herself out of those rough patches like you mentioned and continue to dominate the rest of the game. Sometimes pitchers can get in their own heads and start to spiral a little bit in those situations.
3-2 pitch from Sirocco got her swinging. The changeup low in the zone, and Wallace was way out in front of it.
Clearly, Alex Sirocco is not fazed by this murderer's row of hitters for Florida.
So after sitting down the first two, Alex Sirocco going to have to go up against Charla Eccles. Eccles last year a .417 hitter, highest batting average on this Florida team. First pitch, changeup low in the zone, called ball one.
Eccles, another All-American from last season. Key piece in this Florida lineup, batting in that 3-hole. So, you know, this team has a lot of faith in her ability at the plate.
Eccles, another lefty to start off this lineup. Standing in there tall at the back of the zone. The 1-0 from Sirocco, changeup on the outside half, called strike one.
Alex Sirocco just looks to be in an absolute zone right now to start off.
Eccles last season with 8 home runs. You know she's got the power. Michigan making sure to respect that. Outfield playing about a step in from the warning track. Sirocco's 1-1 has popped up deep towards left field. Plenty of time to settle under it. And we're headed to the bottom of the first inning. Florida goes scoreless, 3 up, 3 down, as Ellie Sealer hauls that one in with ease.
Alex Sirocco, just textbook right there. Drops the first 2 batters herself, and then easy pop out into left field there. U of M will look to get the bats going here.
As they head into the offensive end, it's Lexi Blair to lead it off, followed by Christina Burkhart, then Taylor Bump. Following that up in the 4, 5, 6 holes are Hannah Carson, the red-hot bat of Lauren Essman, as we mentioned, followed by Lexi Voss, and then rounding out the lineup for the Michigan Wolverines, it's Ellie Sealer, Annabelle Wedra, and Ella Mcveigh.
A little bit of a couple changes to the lineup. Carson and Essman's moved up a couple spots to that 5-hole. She was in that 6, 7 area last time.
We're going to see a freshman in the circle for the Florida Gators to start this one off. It's the right-hander Lexi Delbry, the freshman from Bainbridge, Georgia. Saw her in a bit of action in the game previously before this. She came in to close against Kansas City rather. So she's already warmed up. And Michigan just taking a few seconds, sitting with Coach Carol Hutchins right on front of their dugout and getting as much of a look as they can.
Yeah, obviously somebody they don't have a lot of a huge scouting report on, being a freshman and just being the start of the season, but U of M has to be confident they can get something going here. And somebody to look out for is Lexi Blair, Charlie. I think we both talked about yesterday how she had struggled a little bit at the plate, and that was very uncharacteristic for her. I'd expect her to get going.
As we're just about set to go here, the last few warm-up pitches coming down. A quick few shout-outs in the live chat from some places where you're listening from. Tecumseh, Michigan, sticking out. The Woodlands in Texas, Coldwater, Michigan. Again, if you are comfortable and would like to, drop where you're listening from in the chat. We had a fun time yesterday reading off all the places and just, you know, either being envious if you're in Kauai or Maui like a few of you, or relishing in this warm weather as a few of you were listening in from good old Ann Arbor where it was snowing. But we are set to go here. Lexi Delbry takes the circle and checks the wristband. First pitch on the way to the veteran Lexi Blair. She lets it go. It's a ball low and outside. Another great uniform matchup today. Michigan in the maize tops with the navy blue pants and the stirrups today. Florida rocking white socks, orange pants in the white tops. 1-0 on the way to Blair is a rise ball way up in the zone. She lets that one go, so she'll have a hitter's count when she steps back in. Delbry taking her time, looks over to her dugout. Finally nods yes to the sign, and now will deliver the 2-0. This one hit hard on a line over towards second base. And making the play is Adams. We mentioned that a few times yesterday, Kelin. Lexi Blair just can't seem to find a gap. She's been making solid contact, hitting the ball really, really well so far at the USF-Rawlings Invitational, but just, like I said, can't seem to find those holes.
And it is just unlucky, really. I mean, when you hit the ball enough, put it in play enough, it's going to find a hole, and Lexi just needs to keep staying confident, keep swinging the way she has been, and they'll eventually start to make their way through the defense.
First pitch to Christina Burkhart is a called strike up at the letters, so she'll settle in with an 0-1 count. Deep breath from Delbry. Now to the windup. That one hits the ground well before home plate, so we'll even it out at 11. And sort of methodical release from Delbry. Takes her time, steps back with the right foot, keeps the glove above her head for about a beat longer than you'd think she would. The delivery on 1-1. Left outside, ball number 2. Burkhart showed bump for his second. Eccles came up crashing from that third base corner. The wind not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. The flag out in right field, barely moving at all. The 2-1 is hit deep towards center field. Plenty of time to settle under it is Lindsay. And that's 2 up and 2 down for the Wolverines.
I would not be shocked if this game turns into maybe not a pitcher's duel, but runs are hard to come by. This is two very, 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 very highly ranked teams, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle if either team wants to come out on top.
So in steps Taylor Bump, the first righty that Delbry will have to face. First pitch on the way. Bump fired the hips, but didn't pull the trigger. That one a called strike anyway. Hannah Carson over in the on-deck circle. She will be catching today. We saw Kiki Thole come in relief on the defensive side yesterday, but Carson does have the knee guards on. 0-1 to Bump, rise ball high and outside. We talked about it a few times, but that 2-run home run from Taylor Bump yesterday was really just the jump that Michigan needed to get this season going. As she has the 1-1 on the way. Again, left high and outside.
Absolutely. I mean, first inning of the first game, 2-run shot. That's just the spark, the energy that a team needs to get going, and especially in a tournament like this where there's a lot of high-level competition.
Delbry's 2-1. Left low in the zone, pops out of the glove of the catcher, Wilkie. So Taylor Bump's going to have a 3-1 count. Looking to get something going here for Michigan. It's 2 outs and nobody on after both Blair and Burkhart line out and pop up, respectively. 3-1 pitch from Delbry. This one, big swing from Bump. It's fouled backwards into the net, so we're going to go full.
We saw this yesterday, a lot of battling between the Wolverines batters and the opposing pitchers. Saw some 6, 7, 8, 9 pitch at-bats.
Full count pitch from Delbry on the way. Chopped foul. We'll do it again. I can probably count on just my 2 hands how many empty seats there are in this park right now. It is packed to the brim, and it is filling up even more back there behind the right field wall.
And it's honestly great to see the amount of people showing up to see this, because it is a great matchup today between 2 of the better teams in the country.
3-2 pitch is left low and inside, and Taylor Bump is just going to walk on down to first base after working a nice full count walk.
She earned that. She battled there, earned that walk.
Carson ditches the knee guards, and now we'll head over to that left-handed batter's box. Had an RBI single in yesterday's game, a hard line drive down the first base line. She'll look to advance the runner here. First pitch, called strike. Behind the plate today, we have Liz Hammerschmidt over at first base. It's Stacy Newton. And over at third base will be Carlos Guzman. Carson cocks the bat back over her shoulder and watches this one go past her eyes. Bump, not much of a speed threat over there on the corner, so Ball would have to be pretty well placed to get her to score. As you hear some signs of life from the Michigan dugout directly below us today. The 1-1, Carson takes a big hack and knocks it backwards into the net.
Wolverines taking some aggressive swings early, looking to really punish that Florida defense, punish the freshman pitcher, try to get her into a bit of a bind early, see how she responds.
1-2 on the way to Carson. Change up, swung on and missed, and the freshman sits her down. We're going to head to the top of the second. Neither team able to put one across. Michigan with the lone base runner in this one in Taylor Bump.
Delbry saw the aggressive hacks there from Carson and comes right back at her with the off speed, and it's great. That's just great pitch selection.
It's going to be 4, 5, 6. Walsh, Wilkie, and Lindsay due up for the Florida Gators. Walsh, a freshman. And you mentioned Delbry being a freshman in that circle. Florida currently is the number 5 ranked team in the country. And you got to think that, you're not there as a freshman by mistake.
No. Obviously a highly touted recruit and somebody that they have a lot of confidence in, that they've seen through fall ball and through off-season workouts, that they are really confident in, or else they wouldn't be throwing her against the number 16 team in the country and the biggest matchup of this tournament to open the season. But obviously Alex Storako on the opposing side is quite the difficult matchup to go up against. Like we've mentioned, one of the best pitchers in the nation. And what Michigan did to Florida last year at this tournament was nothing short of remarkable.
A couple more shout-outs right before we get going. We've got White Lake, Michigan, San Diego, California, Scottsdale, Arizona, Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Monroe, Michigan. And again, listening from Kauai, a little bit jealous. The weather here, very nice today. The wind has died down, like I said. Yesterday was wearing a hoodie. Today, just rocking the WCBN polo as Alex Storako leaves the first rise ball high and outside. Fans here piling into every nook and cranny they can. Seats are packed. The wall behind right field is packed. There's standing room only seats behind the stands. There's fans up here on the Donaldson deck with us. Storako finds the strike zone on 1-0. Watching last game as Florida faced off against Kansas City, Walsh, the shortstop, was practically a vacuum over there.
And Walsh, another one of these talented freshmen that Florida has brought in this year. They've got a couple of them that are in the lineup today. Falby we'll see in a little bit. Delbry we mentioned already. So they're relying on some of these freshmen to play big roles this season.
The freshman stands tall in that right-handed batter's box. The 1-2 pitch on the way from Storako. It's popped up foul, and it'll make its way into the Florida dugout. So the freshman has a little bit of work to do here down in this 1-2 hole against one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in America, in Alex Storako.
Absolutely.
Storako checks the wristband, now goes to the windup. Spinning to the right, now delivers. This one almost looked like it made it by her, but she just barely got a piece. Chased the rise ball upstairs.
Yeah, just caught a piece of that one to stay alive.
Walsh just the fourth hitter so far for the Florida Gators as Storako sat down the first 3. The 1-2, change up, popped up foul, and nobody can quite get there. We're going to stay at 1-2. That one didn't have too much height on it. Essman and Carson both covered a lot of ground from first base and behind the plate, but just couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, a lot of backspin on that ball. Came down real quick. Tough to get to.
Storako taking her time, looking over towards her own dugout to get the signs. Corners playing straight up, middle infield in Mcveigh and Weidra playing back. The 1-2 from Storako. This one hit deep towards right center field. Back to the warning track is Burkhart, and she's going to make the play.
And that's the second one that we've seen the Gators get a hold of. Not quite deep enough.
That was a very solid piece of contact, though, from the freshman. Off the bat, looked like it had a shot. But Burkhart did a nice job tracking that one down in the gap. So nothing more than a long out. Storako will shake that one off with ease. That's going to bring up the catcher, Wilkie. First pitch to her, called strike in the outside half. Wilkie, only one at-bat on record so far this year. She's got one hit, though, a single. Also has scored and has been walked 2 times.
Getting on base any way she can.
The 0-1 bounces off the plate and up into the chest protector of Hannah Carson. Wilkie with a tall stance up from the right side. Has that left front hip opened up. Over in the on-deck circle, another lefty in this Gator lineup in Lindsay. Storaco's 1-1, change up and gets her to wave at it, strike 2.
Yeah, Wilkie way out ahead of that one. Was definitely not expecting the change up there. Great job by Storako to mix in the off speed.
Rocco looking poised out there in the circle. The 1-2 on the way. Gets her to chase, and she pops it up foul over the head of Hannah Carson and backwards out of the stadium. So, following the foul ball, we're going to do the 1-2 again. 1 out, nobody on. Storako twists and delivers. This one right down Broadway, called strike 3.
And Wilkie maybe sitting on the changeup there. Storako blows it right by her, and she just has to watch it pop into the glove of Hannah Carson. Nothing she can do about that.
That's the thing with these Michigan pitchers, and Alex Storako and Megan Bobie, and even Lauren Durkowski showed it at times yesterday. They've got the velocity to blow it by you, but then that changeup is just so deadly. You have to respect it at all times. And the fact that they have such great command over it, they can throw it at really any count.
Yeah, and it just makes it so tough on a hitter to always have that in the back of your head. And then when you forget about it, we've seen it multiple times across this tournament, hitters just looking silly way out ahead of these off-speed pitches.
Lindsay waiting for the second pitch. The first one was low and in the dirt. Takes a wave at a changeup for strike number 1.
We just said it. I mean, way out ahead on that one. They've all done a great job of mixing it in, keeping the hitters on their toes, not giving away any kind of pattern or rhyme or reason for when they're going to be throwing these pitches.
Bump and Esmond playing up in the corners. Check swing. From our angle, she went around, and Carlos Guzman agrees. Storako now ahead in this count, 1-2. She takes her place back in the circle. 2 outs, nobody on, and Florida in danger of going 3 up, 3 down for the second straight inning. The twist and the delivery. This one hit slowly on the ground, bump covering a lot of ground to get over to it, and she's going to reach safely. Lindsay went to slap there and almost completely missed it. Just got the very knob of the bat on it. But enough for a hit.
Knocks it straight down into the dirt, and it just kind of trickles up ahead of Carson. Looks like maybe a little bit of hesitation there between the trio of Storako, Bump, and Carson. And Lindsay able to reach safely.
So Florida now with their first base runner. Still 2 outs, though, as Rowe steps into the plate. Change up, check swing. Not going to appeal down to first base, so it's going to be a ball. Nice block there by Hannah Carson. We're going to have a quick mound meeting.
It looks like the scorekeeper accidentally credited that hit to Michigan instead of Florida.
Yeah, scoreboard has a little bit of a correction to do, but again, quick meeting in the circle. As Alex Storako just going to look to reset. That one has to be a tough one to stomach. Was well ahead, 1-2 in the count, and then Florida gets on base with a cheeky little single. But that's what great teams like Florida do. They take advantage of every opportunity that they get, and Michigan's going to have to do the same thing. A top 25 matchup. Florida has moved up the rankings as well as Michigan from 6 to 5, and Michigan from 16 to 13.
Both teams taking care of business in their first couple games of this tournament.
1 ball, no strikes, make it 1-1 as Storako blows the rise ball past Rowe. Long look over to the dugout. Now to the wristband. Storako with that right foot on the rubber. Snaps her fingers a few times. Now delivers on 1-1. This one looked like almost the exact same pitch. This one might have went a little bit inside for ball number 2.
Just so great to be here down in Tampa. Great weather, great softball matchups here today.
2-1 pitch to the designated player. Rowe chases that one upstairs for strike number 2.
And Rowe, another one of these talented freshmen that Florida has. Typically she'll play behind the plate, but
infield playing back, bump in Essman, even with the bags, middle infield. A little bit shallow as this one is popped up into the Florida dugout. Some heads quickly duck out of the way. The USF Bulls, the host team over there in the Lawler family batting facility, looking on. They will face off against the Michigan Wolverines directly following this game, so make sure to stick around for that one. Storako's 2-2, changeup on the outside half, strike 3.
Great pitch there by Alex Storako. The whole team loving it.
Rowe was fighting as much as she could up there at the plate, and then that last changeup just completely froze her.
And she's been getting a lot of hitters on that changeup for strike 3. Just so deadly. Great command.
So as Storako adds another strikeout to her record for the year, we're going to head to the bottom of the second inning. Michigan will have 5, 6, 7 up. It's Essman, Voss, and Sealer, followed by Annabelle Wedra and Ella Mcveigh to round out the order before heading back up to the top. Lexi Delbry will take her place in the circle again. 1 strikeout, 1 walk in her 1 inning of work, is yet to let up a hit. Looking back at Essman yesterday, as we mentioned a few times, one of the hottest bats in this Michigan lineup. 3 for 7 yesterday with 2 doubles and an RBI. I'd call that a pretty successful outing, wouldn't you?
I would agree with that. I'd be compelled to agree. And you mentioned this upcoming matchup against USF. That's got a potential to be a great matchup. Expecting star pitcher Georgina Korick to be throwing today for the Bulls.
As Wilkie throws it down and shows off the arm, rifling it down to second base from her knees, we are set to go. It'll be Essman in the left-hand side, ready to go. The Michigan dugout is on their feet. You hear some cheers from the other Michigan fans in the stadium as well. The Maize and Blue faithful made sure to show out for today's contest. Delbry's first pitch delivery swung on and fouled backwards into the net. Essman takes a few practice swings, now will reset. As I mentioned, Lexi Voss in the on-deck circle, so the 2 juniors looking to get something going for Michigan. Pitch number 2 is left low and outside.
Been pretty impressed with what I've seen so far from Delbry, handling the front half of this Michigan lineup well.
Delbry taking her time. Finally gets the sign, now to the windup. This one, chopped towards second base. And a nice easy play for Adams.
Too easy for Hannah Adams, the All-American.
Essman frustrated with that one. She had a good read on it, just rolled her wrists over and dribbled it towards second base. So now another batter down for Delbry, and now she'll have to face off against the junior designated player in Lexi Voss. Voss, a different look from Essman from the right-hand side as she watches pitch number 1 go by. Right inside for ball 1. Settling back in now as Voss goes into her crouch. The 1-0 pitch from Delbry on the way. This one popped up. Has a chance to stay in play, and it'll just barely go off the net. Wilkie got a late read on it. Might have been able to get to it had she found it earlier. Is directly behind us, the USF baseball team seems to be having an inter-squad scrimmage going on. It's a nice view up here on the Donaldson deck. Delbry's 1-1. Popped up, and that one will just tail foul into the stands.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday, but the USF Bulls have a great little baseball-softball complex here.
They bump right up next to each other, and fortunately between games yesterday, we got a little bit of a treat. Got to watch Aaron Judge take some BP right behind us, and I was geeking out the entire time. 1-2 to Voss. Left high and outside. We'll go 2-2.
I mean, how can you not? I've never seen a baseball hit that far before. Just insane to watch in person.
No action in either bullpen. No real reason to with Delbry and Sirocco playing the way they are. Voss puts this one off her own foot. Takes a quick second to just walk it off and shake it off before stepping back in. Voss was 1 for 3 yesterday with a double. And boy, would one of those help Michigan here. The 2-2. Change up left high.
And with the way this game ended up last year with the Wolverines absolutely dominating the Gators, you had to expect that Florida was going to come out here kind of with a revenge factor, looking to get back at the Wolverines for beating them so badly earlier in the year last season.
Full count pitch to Voss is strike 3 down the middle.
And the freshman, Delbry, taking care of business so far.
Voss didn't like that one. Maybe a little bit too close to take on a full count. But in the end, it's all the same. Delbry sits down another one. That's going to bring up Ellie Sealer. First one called strike in the outside.
Sealer, a freshman for the Wolverines. 3 of them to round out the bottom of the lineup.
The lefty swings on the 0-1 pitch, popped up into shallow right field, covering a lot of ground to get over to it. Is Goals. And another inning and another scoreless inning. As we head to the top of the third, we're locked at 0 here in Tampa.
A lot of high-quality pitching we've seen so far on both sides. Delbry, the freshman, impressing early. Got to see just a little bit of her on the tail end of that last game, Florida versus Kansas City. But she's really impressing so far, showing out against the Wolverines.
It'll be Alex Sirocco to take the circle once again as they finally correct the hit tally up there on the scoreboard in right field.
Big fan of the graphics package they've got here for the Rawlings Invitational.
It'll be 8-9 top. Goals, Falby, followed up by Adams. If you're Alex Sirocco, you'd love to get back up to the top of the order right now as she mowed through the first few.
And Goals, and then Falby, another freshman.
So quick little infield meeting with Bump, Mcveigh, Weidra, and Essman. And we will be ready to go here. Goals will take her spot on the left side, the sophomore hitting 200 so far in the season.
Even a pretty sizable crowd starting to congregate here up on the Donaldson deck.
The right fielder has some power. Her one and only hit on the season was a triple. We'll see what she can do here. Storacco's first pitch, rise ball upstairs for ball number 1. Taking her time, looking over to the dugout now. We'll settle back in. The twist and delivery from Alex Storacco on 1-0. Change up at the bottom of the zone. Just missing. Carson framed that one and held it for an extra beat. Corners playing pretty much even. Mcveigh and Wedra will take a few steps in and be about a step behind the baseline. 2-0 hitters count this one. Use some cheers in the Michigan dugout, but looks like home plate umpire Liz Hammerschmidt thought that one was a little bit inside. Storacco will have a 3-0 count to battle back from. Sophomore goes most likely just to take here on 3-0, and that she does. It's a called strike.
Alex Storacco, not a stranger to being down 3-0. Veteran from the circle, accustomed to battling back.
The deep breath and the pitch from Storacco. Again, right down the pipe for strike number 2. Kelin, we mentioned it yesterday, but it feels like a lot of the time with, a pitcher like Alex Storacco or Megan Bobian's caliber, even if they're down 3-0, it somehow seems like they're still ahead and in complete control of the count.
And they just have the confidence to be able to battle back from any count.
Storacco gets her to chase the upstairs ball on 3-2. And that's another strikeout for Storacco, make it 23 on the season.
And that's a perfect example right there, down 3-0, and then just comes back lasering 3 straight strikes. That third one, getting goals to chase up high.
So after an incredible battle, Storacco will face off against the bottom of the order in the freshman Falby. Slap hitter puts this one in the hole, covering a lot of ground is Mcveigh, and she beats it out. Bang, bang play from up here. It looked like Mcveigh had her. But the first base umpire, Stacy Newton, had a better angle.
Really, really tight call there. Great job by Mcveigh to field that one cleanly and fire it across the diamond.
So now the second hit of the afternoon for Florida, yet to have one that leaves the infield. We're back up to the top of the order. The corner's playing up as Adams takes her spot. Carson throws down to second base. The throw just barely not in time. Mcveigh put down a good tag.
And the freshman Falby showing off the speed. First beats out the throw to first on the infield single and then comes right back and steals second.
1-0 count as Storacco couldn't get her to chase. Battles right back, and now we're evened out 1-1. First time Florida's put a runner in scoring position today is Falby sitting comfortably over there on second base. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. The deep breath from Storacco. Spins the ball in the right hand, now set to deliver. Gets her to chase for strike number 2.
Storacco showing off the velocity there. Hannah Adams can't keep up. And you've got to imagine a part of that has to do with that changeup being in the back of her head, not wanting to get out too far ahead.
Adams struck out looking on the changeup her first time up. Storacco will get her to chase again, but able to put the bat on it this time. Both Essman and Bump playing up in front of the bag on the corners. The middle infield playing back a little deep. The 1-2 delivery to the lefty. And she doesn't connect with that one. Storacco able to put it by her. Went 3 straight times upstairs. And Adams was able to foul off the first 2. That one, not so lucky.
That's just Alex Storacco doing what she does best.
So she's got a fresh count to Wallace. Change up first pitch. Looks like it just missed the bottom of the zone.
Yeah, again, Carson held that one there for a second. Trying to give Storako the benefit of the doubt.
1-0 pitch from Storako. Change up right down the plate for called strike one. An elite pitcher like Storako, not too phased to have a runner on base.
No, and that's what can really separate the good from the great, is being able to maintain composure with runners in scoring position and get out of these kind of jams.
1-1 popped up deep towards left field. It will go foul. Sealer's got a lot of way to get there, and what a play! The freshman Ellie Sealer made her way all the way over into foul territory, leaned up against the tarp in the left field corner, and made an incredible grab to get Michigan out of that one.
Wow, that's just an electric play from Ellie Sealer, covering a lot of ground, like you said, and then getting right up next to that tarp for the field and able to hold on to that one. And those are the kinds of plays that you got to make if you want to knock off the number 5 team in the country. It's not going to be easy, and you have to make plays like that to get out of innings and find some outs when they can be difficult to come by.
Incredible play there by Ellie Sealer. Covered a whole lot of ground from her spot in left field. And what a jump start from the freshman. You know, we mentioned having to capitalize on opportunities in games like this. But on the defensive end, you have to be able to stop those in their tracks. Florida had a runner on second base, a runner in scoring position. And we mentioned that this one might be a bit of a pitcher's duel. And a very good pitcher in Alex Storako and the incredible freshman in Lexi Delbry. Delbry will have 8-9 top. It's Annabelle Wedra, followed by Ella Mcveigh, and then back up to Lexi Blair at the top of the order. Here comes the throwdown from Wilkie, and we are set to go. Fans still piling in here as USF takes some batting practice deep in left field. Saw Wedra start at second base in game number 1 yesterday. Didn't play in game 2. Back in the starting lineup here against Florida. She'll take her time now. Settle in with an open stance deep into that left-handed batter's box. Watches pitch number 1 go by, low and outside for ball number 1.
I still can't get over that play by Sealer. That was just an electric grab.
She'll have the 1-0 count. Second pitch high and outside for ball number 2. So it'll be a 2-0 count right here on the way to Annabelle Wedra. Lays down a bunt just foul on the third base line. So she'll come back with a 2-1 count. Great idea by Wedra. Eccles on the corner was playing pretty deep, almost in line with third base. If it had been laid down fair, she would have had an easy path to first. 2-1 to the freshman. She takes a big swing but comes up empty. It'll be 2-2 now. Ella Mcveigh, the other freshman, at the bottom of this order, over there in the on-deck circle looking on. Long look now, Delbry to deliver on 2-2. This one on the outside. It'll be 3-2 now. Full count here, no outs, nobody on. As Wedra lines up the bat, now settles back in and fouls it back. We'll do this one once more. A nice play there by Ella Mcveigh, catching a bare hand off the bounce in the screen.
What did we say that yesterday? That gets her cool points? Florida coach dropped one earlier. That's got to be minus, right?
Absolutely it is. Wedra lining up the bat once more. The delivery and left high. She drops the bat on home plate and trots on down to first base.
Wolverines still without a hit, but their second base runner via a walk.
So with Mcveigh stepping up to the plate right now, wouldn't be surprised to see Michigan go to some small ball tactics here. Eccles coming up well in front of third base. Fresh count, Mcveigh showing bunt early, pulls back, and it'll be ball number 1.
Both the third and first baseman came flying in there right off the pitch. Definitely expecting a bunt here.
We'll have a quick mound meeting between Wilkie it'll be a 1-0 count here. Mcveigh showing will line up her bat here and now lay down a nice bunt, just barely foul. Eccles fields it to her backhand.
And the Wolverines, despite Florida showing that they're ready for this bunt, continuing to try to lay down the perfect bunt to advance the runner.
Mcveigh lines up the bat once more. The 1-1. Low and in the dirt. Nice job by Wilkie sliding to her left side to block that one and keep the runner Weidra at first base honest.
Yeah, Weidra definitely has the speed to take second here if the opportunity arises.
Eccles and Wallace playing almost even with the pitcher Delbry now. That one chopped foul. Mcveigh had to chase that one a little bit outside and went off the end of her bat, so she'll settle back in now. 2-2 count. Michigan in a good position to get something going here and potentially put the first run on the board. One runner on, no outs. The 2-2 count to Mcveigh. Swings and a miss. And now Florida's got Weidra in a rundown. And double play by Florida. Michigan caught sleeping on the bases.
Yeah, not an ideal situation there for the Wolverines. Weidra gets caught in between first and second, and great execution by the Gators.
Michigan, had the hit and run on. Mcveigh unable to put a bat on the ball, and then Weidra was just left out in no man's land. That is a heartbreaking turn of events for Michigan. They went from no outs and one runner on to now 2 outs, nobody on. Back up to the top of the order to Lexi Blair. First pitch to Blair is outside for ball number 1.
Ideally there for the Wolverines, even if you get the out, you have 1 out with a runner on second, and then the meat of your lineup coming up.
While it was an unfortunate turn of events for Michigan, the bench still more than locked in. Blair puts this one in the outfield, and settling under is Goals. So both teams here in the third inning leave runners on base. We're going to head to the top of the 4th now. Still scoreless here as Michigan and Florida continue to duke it out.
Yeah, great game we've seen so far. Solid execution by both teams. No real big mistakes. I guess that botched hit and run there could count as one, but other than that, high quality play on both sides.
So Storako will take her place out there in the circle and will look to go at it once more. When the Gators step up to the plate, they'll have Eccles, Walsh, and Wilkie up. 3, 4, 5, and then Lindsay, Rowe, Goals, and Falby to round out that lineup. Michigan sticking with what's working. Left to right in the infield, it's Bump, Mcveigh, followed by Weidra and Essman, and left to right in the outfield is Sealer, who made that incredible catch, followed by Lexi Blair in center and Christina Burkhart in right field. If you're just tuning in, we would like to thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball here on YouTube. If you like this coverage, make sure to tune in to the game immediately following this one as Michigan faces off against USF. That'll be the last game we cover here down this weekend before heading back to chilly Ann Arbor. And we are ready to go. Eccles, her last time up, flew out to left field. She watches pitch number 1 go by for ball number 1. We mentioned at times this Florida lineup, it seemed like murderer's row, and Eccles, a definite leader in that. The senior, the leader in team batting average last season for the Gators, also had 8 home runs to a record. And boy, would one of those help to crack things open right now. The top of the 4th inning, still locked at 0. Storako will have to deliver a 2-0 pitch to Eccles here. The twist and the windup. 2-0 hit deep towards center field. Lexi Blair back to the warning track and able to reel that one in.
And that's another one hit hard by Eccles deep into the outfield, but both times Lexi Blair able to get underneath it.
Nice job there by Lexi Blair opening up the hips and getting back there with plenty of time to settle under that one. So 1 up and 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning, and it'll be Walsh now. The freshman Walsh watches the first pitch changeup go by for ball number 1. The freshman, in her last time up, flew out to right field, but didn't go down without trying. Put a lot of contact in it and made Burkhart track it all the way back to the warning track.
Florida has the power to create some issues here, just haven't been able to find a gap in the outfield. The Wolverine outfielders have done a great job of tracking these balls down and mitigating any kind of damage.
Storako doing a nice job there, taking advantage of the lack of discipline in the freshman, getting her chase the 1-0 upstairs. It'll be 1-1 now. Storako back to the changeup line, right back at her, and she makes the play.
We saw that happen yesterday. Storako unable to haul it in. This time, great reflexes, gets the leather around and makes the catch.
So now 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the 4th inning. And that'll bring up the catcher Wilkie, her last time up in the 2nd inning. Storako caught her looking. Again, Wilkie with that wide open stance as she takes a big hack at number 1. I know we mentioned the uniform matchup, but these Florida helmets are pretty slick. Storako's 0-1, another rise ball.
I agree. I really like the orange brims there with the white fronds, the blue back half.
So Wilkie learned her lesson after the first one. The 1-1 pitch now. Storako gets her to foul it back again. If you're interested in the gold versus green inter team scrimmage going on behind us, it's 1-1. Still locked at 0 here. Deep breath from Storako. Now we'll deliver the 1-2 with 2 outs. Change up gets her to chase in the dirt. Nice block by Hannah Carson and rifle it down to first base. And Storako just keeps adding to the record. 25 strikeouts so far through her first 2 appearances.
And that's just what she does. Alex Storako, strikeout extraordinaire. And we mentioned it yesterday, but what this team does the rest of the season and into the postseason, she's going to be one of the major driving forces of that.
Couple more hometown shout-outs and listening shout-outs in here. We got Charlie G from good old Frisco says, hi and go blue. Hi right back to you, Charlie G. Some other shout-outs. Again, we mentioned a whole bunch from Michigan, a few from Kauai. That's just, the weather here is just beautiful, but Kauai, I can't even imagine.
Today's been a lot better. I mean, not that yesterday was bad by any means, but today, very light breeze. Yesterday got pretty breezy at times, but just beautiful day here. It USF for the Rawlings Invitational.
It'll be Delbry to take the circle again, and why not? She's held Michigan scoreless through now 3, looking to make it 4. She's got pretty much the top of the order up. Lexi Blair, the last out in last inning. It'll be Christina Burkhardt up for her second time today. Flew out to center field their last time up, but it's Burkhardt, Bump, and Carson, 2, 3, 4. And then Essman, Voss, Sealer, Wedra, and Mcveigh, should we get there. Burkhardt now hitting .500 on the season. We're going to knock that up even higher. Delbry wipes off the right hand on her pant leg and now goes to the windup. Burkhardt loaded for the first pitch but decided to lay off of it, and she made the right call, ball number 1.
And for the Wolverines to get something going, this is the part of the lineup where I'd expect it to happen. Burkhardt, Bump, Carson, and potentially Essman.
Pitch number 2, pretty much right in the same spot, but this one a little more inside. Liz Hammerschmidt will call that one strike number 1. So Burkhardt now has a 1-1 count to deal with. This one changed up top of the zone, a little bit too high for ball number 2. You know, for a freshman in Delbry, she has great command of her stuff, and she's just had a really nice feel for the top of the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Done a great job so far of locating her pitches and keeping the Wolverines honest.
Burkhardt takes a check swing, definitely didn't go around. The count will go 2-1 as it bounces past Wilkie on the left-hand side and rolls all the way back to the backstop. So down a little bit now here in this count. The freshman will have some work to do. 2-1 hit hard on the ground towards second base, but takes a nice hop up into the glove of Adams.
And there's a reason Hannah Adams is an All-American last season. Just a vacuum at that second base spot.
The defensive combo of Adams over at second base and the freshman Walsh at shortstop is definitely something you love to see if you're a Florida Gators fan. But Burkhardt making nice contact. Again, just another instance of Michigan putting a bat on the ball but unable to find the gaps. A little bit of action down there in the Michigan bullpen. It's Megan Bobian throwing. Getting loosened up for the next game following this one against USF. First pitch to Taylor Bump is a strike right down the plate.
Yeah, no reason to imagine that Storako will be exiting this game anytime soon.
Taylor Bump worked a full count walk in her first at-bat back in the first inning. Showing off the eyes there as she watches pitch number 2 go by for ball number 1 upstairs. Bump with the bat over her right shoulder, settles back in, chases this one as Delbry gets her with a little bit of misdirection.
A lot of high-quality pitchers at this Rawlings Invitational here. Obviously, we mentioned Storako, and Delbry's been fantastic. Bobian and Georgina Carrick for USF.
1-2 from Bump is fouled over to her right side and out of the stadium. We'll do that count. Michigan bench still getting into it. Can hear them a lot better today as they are quite literally directly below us. Delbry takes a deep breath. Now delivers the 1-2 and gets her to swing and miss. Couple great hacks up there by Taylor Bump, but the freshman able to put it by her. So 2 outs now, and Hannah Carson will step to the plate. Struck out swinging her last time up. Looking to flip the script here. First pitch, hit hard on line over to Eccles and right into her glove.
Fantastic work there by Delbry. Sitting down 1, 2, 3. Michigan's 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Not easy to do.
So the theme of Michigan just unable to find holes but still making solid contact continues here as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Still locked at 0. Florida with the only ones with hits on the board with 2 infield singles. Alex Storako making her way back out there. She'll have 6, 7, 8 to deal with. Lindsey, Rowe, and goals. Lindsey with the first one to notch a hit in this ball game. That bunt that made it a few inches in front of the plate, but she was able to leg it out in the 2nd inning.
Charlie, you mentioned Wolverines still hitless so far. That was the big question going into this season. Is obviously the Wolverines have the pitching to go far and can compete with almost anyone in the nation in terms of their top 2 pitchers, but do they have the bats to take that leap?
Hannah Carson throws it down, and the Gators are going to look to go back out on the attack. As I mentioned before, it'll be 6, 7, 8, Lindsey, Rowe, and goals. Lefty, right-hander, and then lefty once again. Lindsey by far the most experienced player in this lower half of the lineup, a senior followed by a freshman, a sophomore, and then one other freshman in the 9-hole in Falby. His first pitch goes by for a called strike 1.
Yeah, a bit of a younger team. Only 3 seniors in the lineup compared to the Wolverines, which are chock full of seniors and a couple juniors sprinkled in there as well, but quite a few freshmen in here for the Gators, handful of sophomores as well.
Storako gets the slapper to chase there, so now Lindsey will have an 0-2 count to work with. Bump and Esmond playing well in front of the bags. Definitely locked into what happened last time. Taylor Bump will notch a few more cool points as she catches that one bouncing off the top of our heads. The count stays 0-2.
Bump's got to be leading in that category for the tournament for sure.
After the day she had yesterday, absolutely. The spin, the windup, this one fouled back again. Lindsey got down to that 0-2 hole, but doing a nice job. Just fighting pitches off and trying to stay alive. That just shows the presence of the veteran in this lineup. Oh-2 count for the 3rd straight pitch. Change up, popped up. It's going to go foul, but Burkhart might have a chance at it. Just as I say that, it makes its way over into the Florida bullpen.
That would have been an incredible catch.
That would have been next level, for sure. Lindsey adjusts the helmet and then puts the bat on her left shoulder. The 0-2, one more time. Change up, Frozer, strike 3, Storako.
That changeup has been lethal all day. Yet another victim to that changeup on strike 3.
Alex Storako was not fazed at all by Lindsey fouling off all those pitches, goes right back to her bread and butter and sits her down. Not messing around with the changeup there. Storako goes right into attack mode against the freshman and handcuffs her. She barely fouls it off. Rowe, the freshman, struck out looking in her first time up back in the 2nd inning. Looking to at least put a ball in play here. She fouls off pitch number 2. Burkhart in right field, giving the respect to the freshman Rowe. You know she's got some power, situated about 1 step in front of the warning track. We'll make it a few steps in after her ready steps. The 0-2 again from Storako. This one hit on a line in shallow second base, and what a play! That ball just made its way into the outfield behind second, but Annabelle Wedra covered all sorts of ground to catch it over her shoulder on the run.
And how about these freshmen for the Wolverines defensively making plays? first. It's in left field, now at second base. Alex Storako, got to be thanking him for that.
That'll bring up the 8-hitter goals. First pitch, a changeup, just misses inside for ball number 1. First time up, Goals struck out swinging back in the 3rd inning. The first ball we've seen Alex Storako throw this inning.
We're 2 outs in. It's just her first ball.
The 1-0 pitch, right at the knees, called strike 1.
Just been really impressed with the Wolverine fielders today. Obviously, we've mentioned the freshmen, Sealer and Widra, both making some big-time catches, but the entire outfield able to track down everything that's come their way so far.
Pitch number 2, called strike at the knees. Now Storako way out in front, 1-2. 2 outs here, trying to keep Florida scoreless for the 5th consecutive inning. Deep breath. Now here's the windup. This one just barely fouled off. Well, they're going to say she didn't touch it. Just tying outside, one off the glove of Hannah Carson. So Storako will get credit for the strikeout, but the runner Goals ends up on first base. That was an awkward little string of events.
Yeah, I thought that one was fouled off too, but Goals just took off, and the umpire, Liz Hammerschmidt, agreed.
Awkward string of events, but Storako doesn't seem to be phased. She settles right back in. The corners, Bump and Espin playing up for the slap hitter Falby. First pitch, a called strike on the outside. Florida's going to have to capitalize on that mistake by Michigan. They've got a runner on. Whether it be an earned one or not, doesn't matter. Change-up. Storako got her to dribble it right back to her. It's going to be a close play. Fires over to first base, and she got her.
Another tight one at first base. This one goes in favor of the Wolverines. Great play by Storako to field that one as it comes right back to her and fire it over to first base. Get out of the inning unscathed.
Storako gets the strikeout with 2 outs, but drop third strike, puts the runner on first base, and the elite pitcher not phased, though. Able to handcuff the 9 batter and get her to dribble it right back to her. And we're headed to the bottom of the 5th. Still scoreless here, as Michigan will have the meat of their lineup up. It's Essman, Voss, and Sealer, followed by Widra and Mcveigh before heading to the top of the order again.
Can't say enough how impressed I am with this Michigan team so far today, especially on the defensive side. Obviously, offensively, held without a hit so far, but they've done a fantastic job to hold a very, very potent Gator offense scoreless so far. When we got here, we saw the Gators absolutely lighting up Kansas City, putting up 4 runs. I believe it was the 6th inning.
You're just tuning in here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We would like to thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball here on YouTube. If you like our content and would like to see more of it, click or make sure to look in the bottom left-hand and right-hand quarters of the video feed to see at WCBN Sports on Twitter and at WCBN Sports Radio on Instagram. Make sure to follow us on both of those platforms to be kept up to date with all the inner workings of the organization. And if you want to hear more of our coverage, make sure to stay around, because immediately following this one on a separate broadcast, we will have the matchup between Michigan and the USF Bulls. Enough with the plugs. We're going to get right back into the action. Delbry's first pitch just misses the knees of Lauren Espin for ball number 1. Espin back in her first time up, hit a hard ground ball over to Adams. But as we mentioned, she's been pretty much a brick wall over at second base. Not much getting past the All-American.
No, like you mentioned, All-American last season, and there's a reason for that. Getting it done on both sides. About a .330 hitter and excellent defender in that second base gap.
Espen fouled off pitch number 2. Now she's down in an 0-2 hole. Delbry's pitch swung on and missed. Looks like the scoreboard was incorrect. The first pitch was called a ball, so Espen now in a 1-2 count. Apologies for that. Delbry's 1-2 pitch to Espen now. That one just below the knees, and they're going to say it is at the knees for a called strike 3. A delayed call from Hammerschmidt behind the plate.
Wow, that was a really late call. Espen kind of stood there for a second, and then the catcher, Wilkie, fired it down to Eccles at third. And then we got the punch-out call.
Strange little exchange there for out number 1. That will bring up Lexi Voss, the designated player. Pitch number 1 rides just inside, almost misses her jersey. Voss struck out looking in her first and only time up today, back in the second inning. Did have a double yesterday. And this one rides inside and hits her on the elbow. That one a tough break for Lexi Voss. Has the elbow guard on the front left one, but it just made its way past and hit her on the inner right elbow. And we're going to have a pinch runner. It's going to be Audrey LeClaire to come in for Voss.
LeClaire, an absolute burner. Saw the Wolverines doing some sprints to warm up. LeClaire flying ahead of the pack.
So with LeClaire now on first base, Michigan has all sorts of speed. The freshman Ellie Sealer steps up to the plate, tried to lay down a bunt, but it goes foul. Sealer looking to turn her defense from a couple innings ago into some offense here. Made that incredibly athletic play in left field, tracked down the foul ball all the way over to the tarp. Looking to translate that here. 0-1 count, 1 out. Slapper tried to get that one down, but fouls it off again.
As we head into we're in the 5th inning now, still scoreless. Somebody's got to make a play for one of these teams to break this pitcher's duel we've had so far.
0-2 count, hit on the ground. It's going to be a tough play to get the double. And they get the lead runner. Walsh decides to just flick it over to second base. Audrey LeClaire got a decent jump, but Sealer just hit it a little bit too hard. So 2 outs now and a runner on first base. Michigan has traded LeClaire for Sealer. And that'll bring up Annabelle Wedra. Fresh count to the freshman. Big swing on this one. It has potential to stay in play. Wilkie trying to settle under it behind home plate, and she does. And that one's out number 3. So another scoreless inning here. We're going to head to the top of the 6th. Still locked at 0.
And it may just be a question of on the mound who falters first. Because both of these pitchers, Storako and Delbry, have been fantastic so far. Storako especially, with 9 strikeouts through 5.
Storako has been dealing, as you mentioned, 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. An impressive performance to follow up her outing yesterday in which she had 18.
27 Ks through 12 innings so far. I'd say that's pretty good.
It's the top of the order due up for the Gators. Adams, Wallace, and Eccles, followed by Walsh, Wilkie, Lindsay, Rowe. And a substitution there in the 8th spot. It's Buffano, and then Falby to round it out in the 9. So here we go. Storako takes a quick look around and then takes her place in the circle. And we're ready to go here in the top of the 6th inning. It will be Adams, the second baseman, back in She's 0 for 2 so far, with a strikeout looking in her first time up in the first inning and a strikeout swinging back in the third. Storacco's first pitch just missing the zone, so she'll have to work from behind. Carson and Storacco relay signs, check the wristbands. And now here's the pitch. That one catches the bottom of the zone for called strike one. Essman playing a little closer to the bag than Taylor Bump. Bump working well in front of it. Middle of the infield playing back. Storacco's 1-1 pitch, a changeup right down the plate for a called strike two. You could see that Adams was trying to just sit on something with a little bit more heat on it. And the changeup just completely fooled her.
It's been Storacco's bread and butter all day, just keeping hitters off balance.
Storacco misses on the outside for ball number 2. Adams so far this season, a .571 hitter. Was 4 of 7 yesterday. The 2-2 delivery from Storacco. Popped up foul. It almost hits a fan as it ricochets off the awning above our heads. Michigan fan quick ducked out of the way as it bounces into the front row.
Great awareness by the spectators.
Storacco with the 2-2 again. This one popped up foul. It'll do the exact same thing, but this one makes its way on top of the net. It makes its way back down. Actually, looks like that might be an old softball that made its way down somehow. Had some threads coming off of it, and yeah, that one looks like it's been up there for quite some time.
Nearly made its way onto the Donaldson deck.
You got to think how many softballs and baseballs must be just stuck up in the roof like that somehow.
There's already one we can see on the net here.
Storacco's 2-2 fouled back again. Adams doing a nice job of fighting it off here. We've mentioned a few times Adams, an All-American. Definitely making it known on the defensive end, looking to translate that to her bat here. She hears some "Yeah, Rocco" chants from the Michigan faithful below. The 2-2 again. High and outside, we're going to go full.
Adams battling. Great discipline there to hold off on that one. Not going to be an easy out. Struck out twice so far.
The full count pitch popped up. This one has potential to stay in, but it's going to be a little bit too far and make its way above onto our heads. I don't think there's a single player sitting in either dugout right now. Both Florida and Michigan have all their reinforcements up on the fence trying to cheer their teams on.
Both teams could use all the energy they can get from their dugouts.
Adams settling in for the full count pitch now. Changeup hit hard on the ground, and that one's going to make its way through the infield and over to Christina Burkhart in right field. Great at-bat there from Adams.
That's the first really nice hit that we've seen off of Storacco. Obviously the first one, a little bunt that just kind of allowed Lindsay to beat it out, and then the other one, Mcveigh, just barely unable to get the throw over to first in time. This one right through that Wolverine infield.
Yeah, the third hit from the Gators today, only the first to make it out of the infield. So following the single will be Wallace, the junior, due up. Struck out in her first time up, flew out to left field her last time in the third inning.
Adams possesses some speed there on first. Hannah Carson knows that. Popped up real quick there.
0-1 advantage pitch from Storacco. Blows it by her again for strike number 2.
And Mcveigh, after every pitch, making her way over to second base to be ready for the steal attempt from Hannah Adams.
You mentioned the speed with Adams. 4 for 6 last year on stolen base attempts. 0-2 pitch. This one hit deep towards left field in foul territory. Sealer covering a lot of ground, sliding and making the play. The runner tags up, but the Michigan fans don't seem to care. The freshman showing off the athleticism again in left field.
And Ellie Sealer again making a nice sliding catch there in the dirt in foul territory.
That one is the second incredible catch that she's made in left field, both of which were in foul territory. And we're going to have a quick meeting on the mound.
Second time Florida's had a runner in scoring position. Last time, Storako got out of the inning with ease, but with Eccles at the plate here, one of the best hitters in this, if not the best hitter for this Florida lineup. Definitely probably the most threatening the Gators have been all day.
Yeah, we mentioned Charla Eccles last year, a .417 hitter, led the team in hits, home runs, and RBIs. So if you're Michigan, you have to be careful here.
Another All-American there at third base. She's already shown twice today the power she possesses, putting it out to the warning track a couple of times.
A 1242 OPS last season. Now Florida with the first real chance they've had in a while to put a run on the board. Adams is in scoring position. First pitch rise ball up near the eyes of Eccles. Just tuning in, we're at the top of the sixth inning here, still locked at 0. Florida, though, with a chance to put one across. It's Adams at second base. First runner in scoring position in quite some time. Mr. Rocco puts herself down in a 2-0 hole. Eccles with flyouts in both of her first two at-bats, one to left field, one to center. You'd have to imagine if it's on the right side of the field, Adams would tag at third base, or over to third base rather. And now Storako in a 3-0 hole as she leaves that one high.
Like we mentioned, she's got to be confident still anytime she's in a 3-0 hole, but against a hitter like Charla Eccles, maybe a little bit of concern here.
Storako's 3-0 pitch, and she just wastes it high. So as much as you don't want to put extra base runners on, if I'm Michigan, I'd rather take my chances with the freshman Walsh, especially in a position now where you can turn a double play, than giving Charla Eccles something to hit on 3-0.
Yeah, Eccles is definitely a very powerful hitter, and she's demonstrated that. She's trying to mitigate risk here for the Wolverines.
Walsh takes a big hack at the first pitch, but to no avail. The freshman 0 for 2 on the afternoon. She has made solid contact, though. Flew out to right field on that deep one of the warning track and lined out back to Storako in the fourth inning. 0-1 pitch, changeup, popped up towards center field. Sealer covering a lot of ground to get over to it, and she reels it in. Both runners stay put. Now Michigan in a much more favorable position with 2 outs now.
Because Sealer's able to cover all that ground and the ball didn't really go too deep into the outfield, like you mentioned, Adams has to hold at second, so the flyout unable to advance a runner.
We do have a pinch hitter, so in for Wilkie is going to be number 52, Longley. Sarah Longley, the junior from Royal Palm Beach, Florida. 0 for 3 so far in the season. Looking to make an impact here for the Gators. First pitch high and outside, ball 1. Storako takes a deep breath. She's got 2 runners on base for her. As that one just misses low, Carson points back at her and says that one is a great pitch.
Wolverine faithful, not fans of that call.
Storako again taking a deep breath. She's got a 2-0 count here as she winds up towards Longley. This one a changeup in the dirt. Great block by Hannah Carson.
Another 3-0 count here. Storako in the hole. Gators threatening.
But you know what? We've seen her already today battle back from a 3-0 count and strike the batter out. There's 2 outs. The 3-0 pitch from Sirocco. That one catches the outside of the zone, called strike 1. Longley took about a half step towards first base, wanted that to be a ball 4 call.
Liz Hammerschmidt not going to give it to her.
For Alex Sirocco, got to have confidence in your defense here. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed by Longley. Got her to chase the rise ball upstairs. What a pitch from Alex Sirocco.
And Hannah Carson points back to her, probably saying, you've got this. You're a top pitcher in the country. This is what you do.
Full count, 2 outs. And it rides inside and hits Longley. So now it'll be bases loaded. And up to the plate steps the senior Lindsay. Opened things up back in the first inning with that bunt single. Struck out looking in her last time up in the 5th.
Lindsay about a .330 hitter last season for the Gators.
And Coach Carol Hutchins is going to quick talk to the home plate umpire Hammerschmidt. And we might have a substitution here. It's bases loaded, and we're going to have a pitching change. Sirocco's day seems to be done here in the top of the 3rd inning, or top of the 6th inning, rather. But all 3 runners on base will be attributed to her. She gets a standing ovation as she comes off the field. Sirocco's stat line for the day: 5 2/3 innings and 9 strikeouts. And it's going to be Megan Bobian to take her spot in the circle.
And that's something I know we discussed, not on air, but last night, that the Wolverines could potentially, or were likely to start Sirocco, and then, depending on how the game was going, potentially put in Megan Bobian to close out this one.
So if you're Megan Bobian, you're coming in here with bases loaded, but you got to remember there's 2 outs. Really all you need to worry about is the one up at the plate, and it is Lindsay. The senior 1 for 2 so far in the afternoon, but could crack things open here with bases loaded. Lindsay from the left side, not much of a power hitter, more so a slapper. Lindsay last year only 1 home run, but a .381 hitter. Again, as I was just saying with Alex Sirocco, if you're Megan Bobian, you have to have confidence in your defense. Your defense, especially your outfield, and even more so especially your left fielder, Ellie Sealer, have been incredible so far today.
Absolutely.
If they manage to put the ball in play, don't get too worried because you've got one of the best defenses in the country to back you up. It is getting loud here in Tampa.
There's a reason the score's all knotted up at 0. It's because both defenses have been making plays.
Corners playing up. Bobian's first pitch just misses outside, ball number 1. Weidra doing a nice job backing up Bobian on the throwback from Carson. Don't want Florida to put one across on something silly like that. Bobian to the glove. Now the windup. Changeup fouled back. And that changeup from Sirocco was the pitch that rung Lindsay up last time up, and she looked just as fooled there.
Yeah, again, out ahead on that one. Both pitchers, Sirocco and Bobian, do a great job of mixing in that changeup.
The Gators and Wolverines both on their feet. 1-1 pitch from Megan Bobian. That one just missing low and outside for ball number 2.
This is the biggest at-bat of the game so far. Florida looking to break this one open. The Wolverines looking to escape a major scare here in the 6th.
Bobian's 2-1 pitch rather. Change up down the middle for called strike 2.
And again, the changeup freezes Lindsay. She wanted no part of that pitch.
Tensions are rising here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Megan Beaubien inherited 3 runners here, looking to get out of a jam. The 2-2 pitch, changeup, hit deep towards left field. Burkhart chasing it back to the wall, and that one's gone. On 2-2, Lindsay delivers a grand slam for the Florida Gators.
Just a great hit by Cheyenne Lindsay there. Upperclassmen on this team. Veteran presence later in the lineup. Pulls through with a big-time hit for the Gators.
Burkhart covered a lot of ground to get back there to the wall. It looked for a second like she might have a shot at it. And the wind might have helped Lindsay out a bit there, blowing out towards right field. But Florida in the top of the 6th finally breaks it open here. Beaubien comes right back with strike number 1. Still 2 outs. The slate wiped clean as Beaubien no longer has to deal with any runners on base. Megan Beaubien's 0-1 pitch hit hard on the ground, foul, and now she's ahead 0-2 on Rowe.
Wolverines got to just get out of the inning here. Put themselves in a position to put some runs on the board at the bottom half of 6. Get right back into this game.
0-2 pitch from Megan Beaubien, hit hard on the line, and that one's going to drop down for a single into the glove of Christina Burkhart.
The bats for the Gators really heating up here. Rowe, the freshman, designated hitter. Puts that one into right field.
We do have a hitting substitution. Or at least the board had changed it, and yeah, now here it is. It's going to be Bufano to come in for the Gators. Mia Bufano, the junior from Palm Harbor, Florida, will come in to pinch hit. So with 2 outs, it'll be a runner on first base and Rowe following the single. And Michigan's going to have some work to do in the bottom of the 6th inning. Just tuning in, Florida just busted things open. We are locked at 0 all the way until 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. Then Storako loads the bases. Megan Beaubien comes in relief, and Lindsay puts one over the right field fence. And Florida now up 4-0.
Megan Beaubien came in, gives up 2 hits. Just got to control the damage here and try not to let up any other runs, stop the bleeding.
If you're Michigan, something that is at least comforting is the fact that you've got the top of your order coming up. It's Ella Mcveigh in the 9-hole, and then back to the top of the order with Lexi Blair and Christina Burkhart. 1 runner on. Beaubien's delivery high and outside. Carson took a look down over to first base, but the pinch runner, Kistler, not too much of a lead over there at 1.
Kistler obviously coming into pinch run with some speed here.
Florida had on the hit and run, but that one fouled off. Looks like we have another correction. It's number 46, Thomas, up in the pinch hitter position. All sorts of confusion. The scoreboard had changed it before the inning started. And then Florida changed their mind last second as Beaubien, with her coveted changeup, gets her on the check swing. She's now ahead 1-2.
Yeah, just a little more than a check swing. Like she clearly went around and just kind of stopped about 2/3 of the way through.
This one on 1-2 gets her to chase, pops it up in the infield. Essman going for the ball, and her and Weidra collide, but still able to reel it in.
Nearly a big mistake there by the Wolverines. both Widra and Essman calling each other off. Neither of them let up, and luckily able to reel that one in.
As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, the Wolverines have some catching up to do. It's Mcveigh in the 9-hole, and then back to the top of the order with Lexi Blair and Christina Burkhart. After that, it'll be Bump, Carson, and Essman before heading back down to the bottom of the order. Taking the circle once again will be Lexi Delbry, and boy, has she been incredible today. 5 strikeouts and has held the Michigan Wolverines scoreless through 5 and looking to make it 6.
Yeah, Delbry's been fantastic. And finally, the bats for the Gators able to break through. Michigan needs to wake up here at the plate to have any chance to knock off the number 5 team in the country and continue their undefeated start to the season.
As I mentioned, it's 9 then top. Mcveigh, Blair, and Burkhart, the first 3 due up for Michigan. Mcveigh struck out swinging her last time and only time up in the 3rd inning. That just shows you how good Lexi Delbry's been as we head to the bottom of the 6th, and we've still got Wolverines on their first at-bat. The throw down, and we are ready to go here. Wilkie has re-entered at catcher, so she'll look to help Florida out on the defensive end. Mcveigh 0 for 1 in this one. Was 1 for 4 yesterday. Or sorry, 2 for 4 yesterday. Threw in a double. En route to Michigan's 2 wins on Friday night. First pitch is high and outside as the slapper watches it go by.
Delbry has been fantastic today.
Lexi Blair looking on from the on-deck circle. Pitch number 2, a called strike. Delbry's 1-1 delivery. Swung on, and that one makes it past the glove of Wilkie and back to the backstop. So now Mcveigh down in this count. Delbry in control. It's 1-2, no outs, nobody on. Michigan looking to tack a few on here to come back following the grand slam from Lindsay. Mcveigh puts this one on the ground. It's going to be a close play, but Delbry able to make the throw in time for out number 1.
Great job by Delbry, able to field that one cleanly. Make the simple throw over to first. And the Gators have the Wolverines on the ropes here. It's time to make a comeback is slowly running out.
Up to the plate steps Lexi Blair. First pitch, a called strike at the knees. Blair 0 for 2 on the day, is grounded out to second base twice now. So we have 2 players out in the Florida bullpen warming up. And Lauren Durkowski over in the Michigan bullpen. Or correction, that seems to be Annabelle Widra in the Michigan bullpen, getting a few reps. Second pitch to Lexi is a ball. So it's evened out 1-1. 1 out, nobody on. Blair sets and loads. This one hit on a line towards right field and right to the right fielder, Kistler.
Just unfortunate. Blair another time just absolutely tattoos that ball into right field, but right to the right fielder, Kistler.
And here comes Burkhart, trying to start some kind of a 2-out rally for Michigan. Swings on the first pitch, hits it slowly towards first base, and that's 3 up, 3 down for the freshman Lexi Delbry. We head top 7, and Michigan going to have to try and keep Florida scoreless here.
First adversity the Wolverines have really faced in this tournament. Handled their business against Kansas City and Illinois State, the Redbirds, yesterday.
Just tuning in, would like to thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball here on YouTube. This game not too long from wrapping up, but after this one on the same channel, we will have our broadcast of the Michigan lineup against the USF Bulls. And we do have a substitution in the circle. It's going to be Annabelle Weidra to throw for Michigan.
You have to assume the Wolverines are going to throw Bobian in this next game.
So Weidra moves to the circle, and Sierra Kirsten is going to move over to second base. Be interesting to see how that changes things up on the offensive end. But until then, we're going to see what the freshman can do.
Charlie, you mentioned this earlier. A couple of arms warming up for the Gators as well. Would not be surprised if Delbry does not come out to close this one out, even though she has been fantastic.
Michigan still yet to tally a hit in this one, and they're going to need more than one in the bottom of the seventh. The score as we enter top seven, Florida up 4 following the inning last inning on the grand slam that broke things open. Weidra taking her time, throw some dirt in the hand, and now stepping into the circle for the first time. Weidra writes a little something in the dirt for good luck, and now we'll go to work. Checks the wristband and delivers. First pitch to Falby is a bit low for ball number 1.
First we're seeing of Weidra in the circle this season.
Michigan infield playing in. Kirsten and Mcveigh, even with the bags. Essman and Bump on the corners playing well up. The slapper puts this one down the line, and it's going to be just foul. That one only foul by about the width of the softball.
Lucky break there for the Wolverines. That one would have easily been a double had it nicked the chalk.
1-1 count on the way towards Annabelle Weidra. Weedra's second pitch, a strike at the knees, and now she's ahead for the first time. Freshman battling freshman here. As Annabelle Weidra delivers the advantage pitch. No outs, nobody on this one upstairs, and it takes off the glove of Hannah Carson.
Big inning here for Weidra. Needs to keep this game as close as possible.
1-2 hit on the ground over to Taylor Bump. Fields it clean, throw across the diamond. It's going to be a bang-bang play, but Bump able to make the throw in time. Nice job there by Taylor Bump, fielding it cleanly on the backhand and rifling it across the diamond for out number 1. That'll bring up Adams at the top of the order. Struck out her first 2 times up and then singled to get things going back in the 6th. Ended up scoring on the grand slam from Lindsay. First pitch to her is a ball outside. The freshman looking pretty composed out there in the circle. Got big shoes to fill coming in relief of Megan Bobian. Adjusts the ball on the right hand, now delivers. This one fouled back right towards us and almost made its way over the net.
A little bit of a gap here in between the cement ceiling and the net. Thought that one might trickle right in onto our setup.
So Weidra now's evened out the count at ones. She's set to deliver her third pitch to the senior. This one a little bit too high, ball number 2. USF looking on from beyond the left field fence. They face off immediately against Michigan following this one. Weidra's 2-1 pitch. Right down Broadway, called strike 2. You got to think, if you're Florida, you could be looking to get aggressive here. You already have the lead. You got a freshman pitcher in for her first appearance.
All-American at the plate, Hannah Adams.
Weidra gets her to chase the 2-2, but Adams just able to barely put a bat on it.
Yeah, no reason to play conservative here with the lead. Try to extend that as much as you can in this final inning for Florida.
Weidra takes a long look at the wristband and now goes to the windup. 2-2, hit hard down the line right to Lauren Essman.
Great play by Essman, hauling that one in as it was sculled right at her.
Nice piece of contact by Adams, and then a veteran move going right over to the on-deck batter, Wallace, and telling her what she saw up there. Now doing the same thing with Eccles. Two outs. First pitch of the count from Weidra is a called strike at the knees. Throws a little bit of dirt in the hand, wiping off the sweat, and now we'll settle back in. Long look at the wristband once more. This one, a changeup, bounced well below the plate. Lost it a little bit there. The lefty first baseman Wallace looking for her first hit of the afternoon. Strikeout back in the first inning, has flew out to left field twice now. Ellie Sealer seems to have her number. Weidra's 1-1 pitch. Again, rides high for ball number 2. Florida still on their feet at the front of their dugout, looking for a few more insurance runs for Delbry as they head to the bottom of the 7th soon. Weidra.
And this is a big out to get here because a runner on with Eccles up is not something you want to see if you're the Wolverines. Eccles has been a problem.
Weidra's 2-1 pitch. Advances it to 3-1, so now it's a hitter's count for Wallace. Takes a big swing on this one, but Weidra able to blow it by her. Weidra doing a nice job coming in here in relief. She settles in looking for the goodnight pitch on a full count. This one swung on line towards center field, and Lexi Blair is going to feed it cleanly off one bounce. Nice piece of hitting there by the junior Wallace, and that'll bring up Eccles.
Charla Eccles, one of the ones that got that big rally started last inning. Drew the walk and to put 2 runners on base.
Eccles didn't swing the bat at all on her last time up, was walked on 4 straight pitches by Alex Sirocco. The runner goes on the first pitch. Throw down, just barely sliding in is Wallace.
And there's that aggressiveness that we just talked about. The Gators able to send the runners, play with reckless abandon, if you will, because they just want to get anything they can here in this last inning.
Eccles swung on the pitch to protect the runner, so she's down 0-1 in the count. Weidra's delivery to the All-American has popped up. It's going to go foul, but it's going to stay in the field of play, and coming over to make the grab is Ella Mcveigh.
Another freshman making a nice play. in foul territory for the Wolverines on the defensive side. But it's all about the bats now.
So here we go. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Michigan needs 4 to send it to extras and 5 for the win. It's Taylor Bump, Hannah Carson, and Lauren Essman, the first 3 up for Michigan to get things started. Followed by that, it'll be Sierra Kirsten, Ellie Sealer, Annabelle Weidra, and Ella McVeigh before heading back to the top of the order.
A couple of the Gators still active in the bullpen, but it's still Delbry. And why not? No hitting the Wolverines through 6.
The freshman having an incredible outing so far. Came in for 1 inning of work at the end of the last game Florida had against Kansas City. And came out to start things here. It'll be Taylor Bump, as I said, to start. Bump 0 for 1 rather on the afternoon. Was walked her first time up. Michigan's going to have to be selective here.
And with Bump coming up, you are confident that you've got some hitters that can make an impact here, but everyone's going to need to play a role here if you're going to at least tie this game up.
If you're the Wolverines, have to be selective up there at the plate. They've done a great job all season long so far of fouling off pitches that they don't necessarily love and then capitalizing on the ones they get. So here we go, folks. Bottom of the 7th inning action. Michigan down 4-0. The graduate student Bump steps in, takes a few long looks at her bat. First pitch on the way from Delbry, and Bump chases upstairs.
Aggressive swing there from Bump. Wants to get this rally started.
Delbry now with a little bit of momentum in this at-bat. The 0-1 pitch catches the outside corner, and now Taylor Bump out to an early 0-2 disadvantage. Hannah Carson looking on from the on-deck circle. The Michigan Wolverines are at the fence. Bump hits this one on the ground towards third base. Eccles comes over and fields it cleanly, and that's out number 1.
This game has been all about the tremendous performance from Delbry. Just dominating the Wolverines. No hit so far through 6 1/3.
That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Hannah Carson. First pitch, a called strike to Carson. The fuse is just getting shorter and shorter here. 0-1 pitch. This one hit hard on the ground. This one deep in the hole, and Michigan's got their first hit of the day. Signs of life from the Michigan offense. And hoping this is the start of something good.
Hannah Carson just finds that gap in between the first and second baseman. Hannah Adams unable to get to that one as it trickles through into right field.
We do have a substitution. It's going to be Kaylee Rodriguez coming in to pinch run for Hannah Carson.
Wolverines trying to get as much speed out there as they possibly can. Look for Rodriguez to be taking second here. You don't make a change this late unless you're looking to be aggressive.
As I mentioned, Michigan needs 4 to send it to extras, 5 for the win. Big hack from Lauren Essman on pitch number 1. So the pressure of the no-hitter finally off Delbry's shoulders. The 0-1 pitch fouled back. Now she's up ahead in this count, 0-2. Pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. It is the transfer from Penn State, Melina Livingston. Delbry's 0-2 pitch hit our way. And it's just going to stay above us. It's not going to drop down on the net.
That's where they all go.
Add that one to the abyss of softballs. Oh, 2 pitch on the way to Essman. That one low and outside for ball number 1. So Essman catches a break there, but she's still got 2 strikes. Kaylee Rodriguez with a decent secondary lead over there at first and some definite speed. Essman pops this one up. It'll go foul and make its way into the stands.
Lauren Essman really fighting here, staying alive, waiting for her pitch.
Both teams on their feet as you hear some claps from the Michigan side. The 1-2 pitch to Essman. Hit slowly on the ground towards the pitcher. It's going to be a close play, and she makes the flip in time. Rodriguez able to advance to second base, so Michigan has a runner in scoring position, but there's 2 outs. As I mentioned, the pinch hitter coming in. It will be number 24, Melina Livingston.
Scorer's table doesn't know that, though.
Melina Livingston, the graduate transfer from Penn State. A 3-year starter for the Nittany Lions. Looking to make an impact here for the first time for the Michigan Wolverines. Swings on the first pitch, popped up foul, and that one able to make its way over into the stands.
Wolverines need somebody to make something happen here. Carson able to get it started, but it takes more than just one.
0-1 to Livingston. Right down Broadway, called strike 2. So now the Florida fans here at the USF Softball and Baseball Complex are on their feet. 0-2 pitch to Livingston. Just missing inside, and you hear some jeers from the Gators side. The claps from the Gators are making it loud. The 1-2 pitch on the way to Livingston. Popped up. And the anticipation just keeps growing as that one makes its way into foul territory.
Gator fan able to one-hand snag that one.
Ellie Sealer in the on-deck circle. And the claps resume again. Both teams on their feet. 1-2 pitch on the way towards Livingston. Gets her to chase. It's popped up towards right field. Settling under it is Kistler, and that's going to do it. What a game from the freshman Lexi Delbry. One hits the Michigan Wolverines as the Florida Gators take this one 4-0.
Yeah, just a dominant performance from Lexi Delbry from the circle. Can't ask for anything else from the freshman. As the Gators able to take this one. You know, Charlie, it was all that 6th inning.
Yeah, it all broke open back in the 6th. Alex Storacco loaded the bases. Megan Bobian came into pitch. She got what she wanted, had the 1-2 count on Lindsay. But the veteran in Lindsay able to knock it over that right center field fence for the grand slam, which is all Florida needed. You know, we mentioned a few times the storylines of Michigan being unable to find gaps. They made solid contact all day. Hannah Carson, the only one who notches a hit. But again, Michigan relied on their pitching a little bit too much today. The bats went cold, and when the pitching did too, well, you saw what happened. But with that, for Charlie Brigham and Kelin Flynn, that is going to do it for WCBN Sports coverage of this one. But we will be back in just a short half hour as Michigan looks to bounce back and face off against the USF Bulls. Until then, we're going to leave you with a good afternoon and a Go Blue.